hasn't just struck, energy facilities and energy infrastructure sites in the region. They struck residential buildings in Bahrain, the Kuwaiti airport, a hotel in the UAE. Those are just some of the examples from the past few days. So how does Iran come back from that and try to build trust now?
I think Iran has been trying to build bridges, not burn bridges, build bridges with the neighborhood. There was no reason for many years after the Islamic Revolution for tense relationship with our neighbors. Both Saudi Arabia and Kuwait helped Saddam Hussein during the 8 years of imposed war on Iran. That was a wrong policy. I think the new leaders in these countries have realized that fighting Iran would be not in the interest of the respected countries. Iran agrees. This is a war zone now. We are losing 200-300 civilians on daily basis. Showing sympathy, as our brother Badr showed in the beginning of the program, is really useful when a neighbor, this is part of the Islamic teachings, when a neighbor is facing difficulties, other neighbors coming and helping would be a good gesture. There could be damages, since this is a war zone, there could be damages to these countries. Attacking US bases is legitimate military target for Iran. Iran is going to continue to do that because Iran wants to make sure there is enough cost to the United States. Otherwise, they will assassinate the new Iranian leader. If attacking Iran is cost-free, or if attacking Iran is relatively cost-free, they will continue attacking Iran every few months, which is not good for these countries. There could be some damages, unwanted damages to these countries, but the hope that we have is that the brothers in the neighborhood realize that Iran is fighting for Iran, and Iran is fighting for the neighborhood. Because if they can get away with killing Iranian leaders, disintegrating Iran, then the next target will be Turkey, then Pakistan, then these countries. So we need some understanding, some sympathy, a little bit of help if we can, and then we'll make sure that Americans and Israelis fail, and then we can repair relations and build more bridges as we go forward.
But I'll come to you with a question in just a minute. Yeah, Aziz, I see that you want to jump in. Please go ahead.
I'll just jump in quickly before Badr come in.
Yeah.
Just quickly, I think that Dr. Fouad was talking about this understanding. This understanding was delivered by the Saudi Defense Minister in 2024 or even 2025, I think last year, to the late Supreme Leader Khamenei himself. And in that letter, he was actually saying exactly these things, that in fact, we agree that Israel is the spoiler in the region, and Israel is something that we all agree on. So I think, Dr. Fouad, to be honest with you, we have already sought out and told and expressed this understanding of the situation. Our frustration is that with this ramifications that you're having, or the problems that you're having with Iran, you're spilling it over into us, the people that you sought an understanding with. This is not creating an understanding. You are unleashing your frustration on the brothers that you're claiming us to be. And this is not brotherly relations. And we still want to call for brotherly relations in the future. So this is what I'll say. I don't want to take too much of everyone else's time.
All right, Badr, I know you want to jump in. Please go ahead.
Quick comments on our brother from Iran. And I'm glad you mentioned Islamic teachings. You don't hit a Muslim country, especially in Ramadan, and we never hit Iran from our side. Regardless of all the claims that our colleagues in Iran make that those launched are coming from our Gulf states or airspaces, this is not accurate. And if you notice, the whole return to the past has been something that has haunted and kept the Iranian state and society from moving forward. We're in 2026. Why are we going back to the Iran-Iraq war? Let's move to the future. And by the way, that's what we're doing in the Gulf states. And that's what we're focused on. And we think that peace and prosperity can never be limited to us alone. It's shared across the board. And that's why, despite all the assets assets that we have and all the very strong capabilities that we've demonstrated in the last 4 days, in which the interception rates are among the highest in the world, by the way. This has also been linked up with restraint. And don't take restraint as weakness. This is not our war. Again, this is Israel and the US going at Iran, unfortunately. And this is for the Iranian state to go back at the culprits, to mix the papers up, to raise the cost, to think that this adds pressure on the Gulf for us to then deliver that pressure to the US. We've done that before, the war. We've tried our best. But we need to understand that we are not in control of US state society and institutions. We are, our own countries. We try to deliver what we can to protect our national interest and to see regional common stability. But at times we cannot reach that target. And I think the Iranians know that. So mixing up the papers will not serve them well now or in the long term.
Fouad, I'm going to give you a chance to respond. You've had Badr and Abdulaziz both addressing you directly the last couple of minutes. Please go ahead.
No, we have had reports in US press, Axios, Washington Post, reporting that Saudi Arabia is encouraging the United States to attack Iran and overthrow Iran's government. No one in Iran has believed that. We understand that these American news organizations generally get leaks from Israeli sources. They want to create tension.
The Saudi spokesperson rebuked that, Dr. Fouad. The Saudi spokesperson rebuked that.
Yes.
And 2 days ago,
Yes.
he rebuked that, and he said
That's why we haven't believed it.
our policy was open to actually achieve a diplomatic deal.
I'm
I
impressed
said
by
Iranians don't believe.
outlets since the beginning. You should refer to local outlets in the Gulf. What we're saying to you, we don't need to go to the West. We need to deal with one another to get our issues sorted.
Fouad, go ahead.
That's what I'm saying. People in Iran did not believe that because I think Israelis want to, they managed to use American soldiers in their attacks on Iran. They want to use Kuwaiti and Saudi soldiers in their attacks against Iran. So, as I said, Iran did not believe that. Trump is saying that. Every other day, Trump is saying that the neighboring countries are encouraging him to attack Iran. Iran didn't believe that. Iran didn't believe most of the things that Trump says. The hope that we have is that the United States stops this illegal war against Iran. They started it. Iran has no other choice but to use the capacity that the country has to inflict cost to the United States, not our neighbors. The bases, American bases, happen to be in these countries. Unfortunately, when the U.S. designated Iran's military as a terrorist organization, Iran designated U.S. military as a terrorist organization. So we are fighting terrorism, and these terrorists are located in this part of the world. And the hope that everybody, our brothers in the Persian Gulf states, the hope that we have is that they understand that Iran is fighting for them as well. I hope that they understand the cost that they may endure, because in a war zone sometimes missiles go into wrong places. But the cost that they would have is going to be much less if Iran wins in comparison to the cost they would have if Israelis dominate this part of the world.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. It's just that we're about to run out of time, and Abdulaziz, I saw that you wanted to react, but I need to ask you one last question. Please, if you could just keep it brief. What happens now from your vantage point when it comes to the Gulf states' ties with the U.S.? I mean, will the relationship between the Gulf states and the U.S. change? Will the Gulf states trust the U.S. less after these actions?
I think one of the grievances that that Saudis and others in the region have with the United States is the fact that the United States actions, as short as they may be, will leave us to inherit the strategic ramifications of those actions. So this is why we have not wanted such a war to happen. So what I do anticipate is alluding to what Dr. Badr Saif mentioned earlier, is that we did not have much influence on the decision-making process nor the wins of Donald Trump. I think this is clear. What we will have to do is increase our diplomacy in Washington, D.C. to help mitigate any negative wins that will affect our security in the region, just like initiating a war on Israel's behalf, which is what the United States said, and to probably try to leverage some of the political weight that they have in Washington, D.C. for the benefit of the region. And I think this is what I meant by training the mode of diplomacy. We are going to see more of a proactive diplomacy there. I hope so, at least. And we will be better if we work as a collective, as a GCC, and not really as different parties in the GCC in Washington, D.C.
All right, we've run out of time, so we're going to have to leave the conversation there. Thanks so much to our guests, Abdulaziz Al-Hashyan, Fouad Izadi, and Badr Al-Saif.